The prelude to war is set in a Europe dominated by Napoleon's empire. Despite his vast territories, alliances of old adversaries like Prussia, Austria, Russia, and Sweden threaten his reign. In Leipzig, anticipation builds for a decisive battle. Napoleon, the embodiment of confidence, marshals his forces, believing that victory here will cement his supremacy, unaware of the extent of the coalition's resolve to encircle and topple him. The gathering storm sees the coalition's colossal 300,000-strong army converging on Leipzig. Notable figures like Tsar Alexander III and Prussian General Blücher motivate their troops with promises of freedom and vengeance. Across enemy lines, Napoleon meticulously analyzes maps, strategizing the defense with his comparatively smaller 170,000 troops, their morale high under his revered leadership. In the French position, Napoleon fortifies the outskirts of Leipzig amid rumors of his strategic genius. The French prepare, positioning artillery, cavalry, and defensive structures while scouts engage in early clashes. As the coalition advance unfolds, determined Allied armies under leaders like Tsar Alexander and Blücher move in synchronized harmony toward the French defenses, their unified strength rattling the ground. Thunder from opening artillery salvos marks the commencement of the clash begins, where initial engagements turn chaotic with ferocious infantry clashes and defensive French artillery barrages. Amid the chaos, Napoleon's tactical genius comes to the fore as he deploys feints and false retreats, timing his elite Imperial Guard to precise counterattacks. Nevertheless, the unending waves of coalition forces test his strategies and his troops' endurance. Next enters Blücher's determination, characterized by his relentless will to drive the Prussians further into French lines. As the Allied forces press harder, the weight of numbers bears down on the French, leading Napoleon to throw reserves into the fray, yet struggles against unrelenting coalition advances. The Swedish charge, led by Bernadotte, turns the tide against Napoleon's right flank, surging unexpectedly to breach gaps, despite French retaliation, adding to the mounting adversities faced by Napoleon. The stalwart unit, the Imperial Guard stand, reassures Napoleon until overwhelming pressure from coordinated attacks by the coalition begins to bend their line. The city of Leipzig itself becomes embroiled in the conflict, with Napoleon's troops battling within its streets as the coalition encircles them. The French, despite valor, face encirclement. In a desperate move, when realization dawns on the inevitable, Napoleon orchestrates a retreat, but the methodical coalition pursuits turn withdrawals chaotic as Napoleon ponders solutions amidst emboldened coalitional pursuits. The turning point emerges as Blücher's troops mercilessly advance to the river, crushing the French and forcing them into a perilous retreat, exposing vulnerabilities even Napoleon's famed defenses struggle to counter. The retreat intensifies and the French retreat begins, with coalition forces persisting, cutting French stragglers down, shattering the invincibility once surrounding the French army. The river crossing becomes a frantic struggle to reach safety, bridged with difficulty by pressed French troops while coalition artillery ensures devastation. The final loss is cemented as Napoleon watches his dissipated forces, now mere shadows of their formidable past, attempting vain escape amidst smoke-filled devastation. In the aftermath, coalition leaders survey their hard-won victory, acknowledging the heavy sacrifices that sealed the defeat of a legend and marked transformational shifts in Europe. Paris reels as the Parisian reaction to the loss leads to a rise in unrest, the myth of Napoleon's invincible reign shattered, fueling political upheaval. Napoleon's reflection following defeat, set in solitude, portrays introspection on his faltering strategies and diminishing loyalty, facing the sobering reality that decline has set in. Coalitional resolve strengthens with the coalition's victory as the narrative of victory echoes across capitals with recognition of the need for sustained effort to dismantle Napoleon's empire. Returning to France, Napoleon contemplates recovery and Napoleon's retreat to France, steeling himself for reconstruction and rallying the French, dispelling surrender. Amid political discord in a divided France, challenges mount from both allies wavering in loyalty and opportunistic foes advocating change. Addressing the populace, the call for unity sees Napoleon attempting to galvanize support, dividing public opinion, yet re-invoking his storied past for inspiration, while adversaries smell blood. Propellant Blucher's pursuit transitions the saga toward France, his forces preparing for culmination against invigorated attentiveness. The subsequent battle for Paris stretches the empires of both hegemons as the stage is set for Napoleonic revelation. In an intense contest, Napoleon's last stand, the streets burn under attrition, ultimately necessitating retreat and conceding Paris to coalition forces. The exile describes Napoleon's fallen grandeur as he's shipped to Elba, plans etching in isolation across the empire's ruins. His inexplicable return transforms into the return of Napoleon, creating fervor and anxiety as political dynamics churn anxiously under his approach. Waterloo awaits, prompt eager anticipation for resolution as alliances coalesce, crafting a defining conflict in Napoleon's illustrious history. In the Battle of Waterloo, strategic brilliance faces crumbling odds in familiar tales of smoke, shells, and unstoppable coalition unity. If you like it, please like and subscribe to the channel to receive all that is new.